Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the rank 1 Protoss player in the world in the red, the mysterious MaxPax. But his nemesis and his counterpart, the top Terran from Team Liquid. It's of course Clem. A best of 5 TVP Grand Finals and starting off strong. A aggressive strategy from Clem and an economically aggressive strategy from MaxPax. And I gotta appreciate an economically aggressive strategy because I always am begging you to like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? I know. 1,287 likes on this video, on this cast, on this finals. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. I don't know what else I would do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a little bit better. Yes, Clem versus MaxPax, starting off with a bunker rush over the top of the gold. MaxPax had to know this was a possibility, arguably a probability, as the shield battery will not go down to the Reaper. But Clem in the bunker can, of course, fight. So, while the probes are mining, the Stalker... Okay, so the SCV can repair. The SCV does not run out of energy. The shield battery is going to take a while to do so. He's building another shield battery. So, there's another Things are escalating on both sides. Throws the grenades. Gonna try to snipe. Oh my god. Leave it to Clem to find a way. Shield battery overcharged to restore the energy. Somehow still... Well, not actually restore the energy, just overpower it here. He's looking to snipe off one of these probes, but he missed the mark. 2 Stalkers seem to be enough. Second shield battery finishes. There's a very real chance nothing dies by the end of this. As, well, he's keeping him quite busy. And a Cyclone, oh, but just in time kills the bunker. Shield battery overcharge has already been used. The very first unit dies after a minute and a half of shenanigans. The Cyclone, of course, adds a lot more damage. And maybe we can finally talk about the patch and the changes, which are already quite relevant from what we've seen. First things first, the Cyclone has more HP, does less damage. Lock-on has a cooldown again, though not as long as it was. It's about like halfway in between the Cyclone of about a year ago and what we had just up until about a week now. So the Cyclone, still strong, but not quite as oppressive so far as the result. The Oracle, still very capable of killing SCVs at an undefended base, especially when the Cyclone is known to be across the map. The Reapers are still alive here, of course, because Clem is indeed controlling them. And so far, despite their best efforts, neither player able to land anything resembling real damage. 4 SCVs, I guess, is a good take. And Clem, you know what? I take it back. Clem's only at 30 SCVs. He invested a lot of time in getting damage done. And MaxPax just slapped down the shield batteries and absorbed it. So, until there's something like a Liberator or a Widowmine, both of which got nerfed, the Liberator Advanced Ballistics has 1 less range. Liberator, until then, same Liberator. Widowmine, now slightly less radius, and the targeting laser is more visible. Clem himself has said he doesn't really feel a difference. MaxPax has also agreed to that, I believe, at Pig Show match, if you didn't check that out. That the end result is probably not that impactful at this level, but we will see. But some other key changes, besides Clem's Reapers being ridiculous. Now, that's not a change, that's just consistency. Quickly, is Terran upgrades. The armory is 50 gas cheaper, so only 50 gas in total. And the +2 and +3 upgrades are 25 and 50 resources cheaper apiece. So easier for Terran to get to that mid to late game upgrade stage. Meanwhile, though, Stalker's over the top. Blink's still strong. Blunk's on top of the tank. The SCVs get a lot of repair up, and that means they're actually trapped in citizen's arrest. Stop right there, criminal scum. Well, he gets the tank. And MaxPax's attempt is also going to be rebuffed at pressuring this gold base here on Dynasty. So, for Protoss, Observer's build, about 4 seconds faster, which is about a 20% increase. It's like 21 to 17 seconds. Don't ask me to do math. And pylons have more sight range, making them more spylons. Also, technically, sentries aren't light anymore, which is mostly for PvP. They do extra damage to shields, and I think they should do extra damage to combat shield. Unfortunately, well, that high ground. MaxPax really working the Blink Stalkers. Anticipates over the broken bridge. It is actually a working bridge, despite the looks. Loses 2 Stalkers. Concussive not quite done. Stalkers forced to recall back as Clem has put together a starportless push here. Does he have any starport units? No. It's just straight up a few Marauders and a tank coming across as the aggression continues between these two. The Stalker's caught on the wrong side of the Nexus right now, but out of tank range most importantly as he slowly but surely whittles down that army. So, Clem, without Medivacs, going to be very hard to maintain this push. MaxPax warps in around his Zealots, blunks forward, trying to chase it down, but Clem anticipated it, and he's backed off. They can't see each other quite yet, but they know they're there. They're out there somewhere. Taking a look around. The Observer will be able to spot this. +1 infantry weapons is about to complete. MaxPax has his +1 on the ground. So right now, it's up to MaxPax to pick a fight that he can win, because these units are strong but not unbeatable at this stage. Clem has a lot of firepower, but if he just jumps on it, and there's only one medevac, the bridge is going to be very difficult to cross, though. He's able to jump. I believe he killed the tank and got a few of the bio units. A single Marine may actually kill some probes, because, of course, oh my, sliced up, but Warp Prism in position. And now the gold bases are starting to mine out, which does actually open up. It's just an advanced mineral wall. But, well, not so advanced, just a regular mineral wall. And blunks in. MaxPax confident. He knew where the army was with the Observer. So beautiful positioning here. He may have the opportunity. Well, he's actually, I'm not sure if he's trying to get out or get in. As at the same time, attacking at the front. The force field mildly inconveniences the bio before it absolutely slaughters everything there. But MaxPax continues to do the damage at the back. He's escalating this fight, juggling, blinking in. Well, he doesn't need blink. He can blunk forward and then juggle back. And we're continuing to dance. Oh my god. Oh, on both sides. He blunks over the top, but that's gone too far. He gets out with the Warp Prism. And I think Clem gets the better end of this exchange. But oh my god. These two just going back and forth over the mineral walls. But this one is already mined out. Shield battery overcharge is no match. Has to come back. Clem's bio army. +1 done. Trying to target the medevacs. Gets 1. Juggling back Stalkers after blinking forward and trying to maintain that superiority. And right now I think MaxPax has what it takes to bring this army down. The Stalkers got to be very careful about blinking forward. Wants to take down the medevac. 7 probes went down throughout this. +2 ground weapons done for MaxPax. A lull in the action for a moment. +3 on the way. Ghost Academy. Does Clem have an armor? He does not. Cheaper, but not free. So right now focused on the unit composition. The mini-map is a mess. As units on either side. Widow Mine splashes across. More Widow Mines on the way, but they're still dangerous to the Terrans. Zealots juggling. Another mine. Another set of Zealots. 10 SCVs down. Zealots into the natural. But the Bio Army is crushing its way through. Targets down. Cuts off the reinforcements with the Warpin. More charge lots from the north side, but the Nexus itself could serve as something of a force field. Gonna use those Widow Mines and soften up many of the Zealots, but the aggression will continue. As the Zealots have made it into the main charging forth, the SCVs try to repair, but they need to get in front of these Marauders. MaxPax is starting to solidify his position. Clem realizes his Widow Mines were going to do more damage to Terran than Protoss, and smartly pulls them out of the ground. But some Marauders going to get eviscerated on the front line. Medevac scrambling, stims. Well, the units, they could mine through? Yes. Okay, so there is a path through. Oh no. Those bio units left alone. Hunted down and destroyed. hectic game, but MaxPax has kept 4 bases alive. The Marauders gonna chase. Force field again. Well, the Zealots went around it. Widowmines connect. MaxPax looking the other way. And Clem's gonna be able to soften up some more of those Zealots, but the upgrades and the Colossi are out. And with them, there's really nothing to contest. The Marauders don't have enough HP. The upgrades are good. MaxPax's economy is holding on. The Marines make it through, but MaxPax, he's able to hold to the north side. And Clem just doesn't have any upgrades. He doesn't have anything else on the way. MaxPax holds and takes game number 1. What a game. Oh my god. Well, gonna be hard to follow that one up, I'm sure. They're a bit younger than me. They can keep it together. All we have to do is sit there and try to keep up ourselves. Wow. Any of those fights could have tilted. There's probably 8 to 10 moments. Many games are decided by a single moment. But that game had 8 to 10 that easily could have tilted the game in either direction. But MaxPax held it together. The confident defense. And now, we'll go into game number 2 with a 1-game lead. Jimmy, please. Probe driven away. It's like it's going to be Marine first. Not a Clem. Intentionally denying that scouting. Which is always pretty suspicious. Command center. Probe. Just naming things. SCV. Space monster that hovers over the top and has that stressful looking shadow that isn't actually a unit, but really stresses me out, especially when I'm playing against Zerg. We'll call him Dave. My god, it is kind of terrifying, isn't it? Meanwhile, under Dave's shadow, a single Zealot. He actually just built a Zealot. I think this is MaxPax saying, well, if you're not going to build a Reaper... Well, the SCV almost gets it. The Marines micro back, get the Zealot. He delayed the command center a bit. Adept comes in, but Clem had near perfect micro there. And that means there's enough Marines on the field that the Adept is not going to get the damage done. Wow, just dancing back and forth. They're every single unit being used to such dramatic effect. Oh, the Hellion on the high ground actually baits it out. Another Adept comes in, but with the Hellion, that should be enough to deal with this. And he had no indicator of that Hellion coming out, and that's going to cost MaxPax his Adept, yes. So not an ideal start. MaxPax currently does not have any units that are probe. Stalker about to complete, has to wall off the front. The Stalker will get there in time. Alright, poking out. Trotting. Stalkers do. Wishing they were Dragoons. They just strapped a turret on top of the Immortal. Or on top of a Dragoon and called it an Immortal. Arguably better. I'd argue, though. Hellion somehow gets away. There is a Widowmine Marine drop. Kind of the most non-committal. You just throw everything in there. Bit of a trail mix drop. Not a huge commitment, but definitely could do... If MaxPax is halfway across the map with his Stalkers, the Spylons with their extra vision only are relevant. Yeah. So that means the Pylons have near the same vision of most air units, so... That means defending against these mine drops is significantly... Well, that should just be easier overall. Blink is not quite done yet. It looks like MaxPax is waiting it out rather than sacrifice a probe. Stalker, and we see the end result of a Stalker and 2 Marines. Looks like he blinked out. Mine. Removed. Oh, one key point I neglected to mention is the mine is now no longer cloaked until you research drilling cause, which requires the now cheaper armory. So it's a lot harder to have those mines and require detection early on. Though, if you're focused on it, is not particularly difficult in the later game. As considering the armory is cheaper, that makes the... Oh my god, a probe just killed a Hellion. That's so hardcore. MaxPax. Gonna lay it on here. Clem has it buttoned up. But the Blink Stalkers will find a way in. Only 4 of them, enough to one-shot SCVs. And yanks them out with the Prism. Beautifully done thus far. Medevac drop. He still has some Marines in there. I like the forward, like, outward-facing bulwark. Clem clearly. Well, is that better against Blink? I think against Charge, it's clearly not. But against specifically Blink, making it that much more difficult. Blink's into the main. I don't think he had vision of that tank, or maybe just right on the edge. There is an observer, but it's more towards the north side. Zoning out. A bit tamer of a game, which is to be expected when you can't shoot over the top of your opponent's mineral line. Oceanborn, pretty well accepted as a standard, mostly defensive map. Not one of the new and fresh map pools, which I've seen some very creative builds already. Clem tries to dart in with the medevac, but the Stalkers stoically watching. It's really most of what they do. It's a whole thing. So Clem bottled up in his base, trying to build up. He's got medevacs down +1 on the way. Combat shield finishing up. That should be the trigger for an attack. As even though he has a 3rd command center on the way, you don't want to let MaxPax have too much time just kind of hanging out with his own 3rd base. So, for now... Well, here comes Clem. Anything he can get with the Blink Stalkers without taking damage. Clem knows. He's even got the Raven there, mostly to clear observers, but does he have interference matrix? No. Now, MaxPax can't know that for sure. The army is headed out. Clem with the Marauders well positioned. He recalls immediately, gets the observer, gets 1 Stalker, but MaxPax with the decisive recall. Very important here. Coming in with a Warp Prism to try to drag some attention away. Charge should be done. Indeed it is. There's barely anything back at home. Clem has to make some hard choices. He has the army supply. It is a massive advantage. 93 to 63 right now, but he's losing his SCVs back at home. Some of the reinforcements. Force Field. Optimistic. Guardian Shield. And just shields in general restored by the battery. 9 SCVs dead, the Warp Prism still intact, but here comes Clem. He has full energy, I believe, on that Raven. Yep. And that means a lot of danger bearing down on MaxPax's base. Shield battery overcharged. He's trying to hold out for another warp in. I don't think he's going to get to the Colossus. The tank push. There are some charge lots looking to cut off the reinforcements. A single zealot. And indeed, the reinforcements being cut off. But there's just not enough zealots to keep it going. Clem, just so much momentum here. The Colossus is out. The army's starting to crumble, but MaxPax has managed to keep a lot of it intact. 4 Widow Mines. There's some charge lots to the south side. MaxPax gets 1 shot at this. A single Stalker on the other side taken out. Siege tanks. The Widow Mines are pulled back, and the medevac came in! Oh no! And MaxPax had a very tenuous defense, but this is going to make things a lot more difficult. Just dealing with this medevac is... Oh. The Zealots on the other side. The standoff continues. A huge amount of the reinforcements are on the way across the map. Continued warp-ins. A single... 2 Stalkers at the back of the main should be able to deal with it. 2 Colossi. MaxPax has had so much patience here. That's a lot of Marauders on the front line. The Colossi are good, but Marauders are arguably better. Holds the line. The Widow Mines anti-armor missile drives back the Colossi. The mines splash all over the Zealots. And the Protoss army stood tall, but crumbles the same way. The Zealots came in late from the back. And, oh, there's still a Colossus. Another anti-armor missile to melt through the Stalkers. And even if this army just spontaneously imploded, Clem would still have enough at home. It is a devastating loss here for MaxPax. Not of the game quite yet, but his position has not gotten any better. Deals with the mines. He should be able to... Wait, they didn't actually fire. Oh no. Medevac at the back. That will get shut down. He's gonna try to blink his way out again, but wait, there's more. Oh, and he gets the Stalker. Some Vikings. And Clem. He has more against less. MaxPax has done such a great job holding it together. Does he have shield battery overcharge? He desperately needs it. Force fields will buy a little bit more time. Shield battery overcharge is ready if he has the energy. Down goes a Colossus. And it's just... MaxPax is, he just can't get out from under this. The tank Viking push. Oh. The cute blinks, but there's so many... The ghosts are on the field. The Vikings take out the Prism. The last thing that was keeping Clem anywhere close to busy back at home. Takes out a tank. The fact that MaxPax is still holding on at all. He's been so incredibly particular with his Colossi, his Blink Stalkers. He's done pretty much everything he could, but Clem just took too good of a position. And he's ground his way forward. MaxPax, 2 disruptors. The dream is those disruptors. They could save the day. They're desperate. But he's got 3 Colossi. He's got enough Stalkers to zone out. EMP lands and helps soften up the Colossus before the Viking missiles even connect. I believe a Widow Mine or just a Marine down there. Trying to send probes out. Disruptor shot. Fires a volley. Decent split. And now the Ruptors are revealed. Colossi looking for an opportunity. Another Ruptor out. MaxPax is holding it together. But he's on a shoestring budget right now. Not even that. Can't even afford strings for those shoes. Alright, bare feet charge lot. Very dead ghost. But there's still one. EMP. +2 for MaxPax. He's just trying to chase. Shield battery overcharge keeps the Colossus intact, but the Vikings find another connection. And Clem is just not letting MaxPax out. That's so many ghosts. Disruptor shot. Okay. Another one. Decent. There's really not that much bio down here. And you know what? Feedback's onto the ghosts. Clem is not... MaxPax refuses to die. This is some of the most tenacious Protoss I've seen, you know, maybe ever. Especially against this level of aggression from Clem. The Disruptors are zoning out, side to side, and there's just not that much army here if you can get the ghosts. It fires onto the Widow Mine. Well, MaxPax has carved out a 4th base for himself. The Medevac is back, but I think that's a select all army. Oh my. Clem. Clem, hello? Well, those are mistakes. Another massive drop loaded up. An optimistic one at that. Well, any of these drops getting through could certainly spell disaster for MaxPax. Disruptor shot under the top. Another Disruptor point blank. Fires 2. The drops are unloaded. He's actually coming back looking to flank, but MaxPax is powering through. The Archon's kind of jammed into the back, but they get out in front. The EMPs didn't actually find much. There's still one Ruptor ready. Fires a shot, pulls back. The Colossi are down for the count. And the Disruptors are recharging. Again, MaxPax struggling to find... There's still some Widow Mines over here. He's still going. Like, MaxPax, for all intents and purposes, was dead. And he's still just barely holding on. A Widow Mine drop. Pulls back and pulls away. MaxPax is holding on to so much right now. But he has to stay aggressive. That's his best chance of landing one of those Ruptor hits, is to stay up in Clem's face and try to find the connection. If he just sits back, Clem can dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge for days. Another dramatic drop. That should be spotted, but will there be enough time to deal with it? Oh, he's retargeting, which is very obvious. I really do like the change for that purpose. But a massive drop into the natural. Meanwhile, MaxPax out on the field, fires around the bend. But the drop into the natural to undercut the production, and Clem drives the knife home. Ties it up 1-1. Solidly done. Clem never committing to a fight where the Disruptors could really win. Sending out the drops because as soon as they're a Disruptor base, Disruptors are not very good at defending on the home front. Firing a Disruptor into your own mineral line feels like you've already lost, even if you do manage to hit. So, Clem pinpointing the right strategy to deal with that, and ties up the series 1-1. But these two clearly so evenly matched. Incredibly high level. And, well, I'm interested to see on our most interesting map of the new pool. We have Crimson Court. The court of the Mountain King. As there are 4 sets of rocks on either side. This is essentially a ramp. For those who don't know, in MOBAs, when people want to have fun with MOBAs, which I know sounds redundant, or not redundant, like an oxymoron, they play ARAM, which is all random, all mid. So the all mid part here is very true, where the only way to attack on the ground is directly down the center. You must mine out these mineral walls or take down the rocks. Of course, air units exist, so they can circumvent a lot of that. But you can really only expand down the center unless you're willing to open those things up. So, I'm sure this will be quite a divisive map. I know Zerg players especially, not the biggest fans of, 4 sets of destructible rocks. That does seem a little excessive to me as well, but so many opportunities to get caught between a rock and a hard place. Now, Blink Stalkers can circumvent a lot of the issues. Reapers can circumvent almost all of the issues. Gets a probe. Is there another Adept chasing? There is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Not this time, Clem. Not this time. There will be no cap here. Okay? No CAP. Crimes against Protoss. That's what that means. For those who don't speak Zoomer. And that's fair. Alright? The years have gone by and everybody's accused Protoss of being cheesy, of being OP, just because of their, what I might describe as issues severely lacking in skill. But at the end of the day, it's been too long. Well, for these Adepts to stay in the natural and now they're going to die. Well, that's... Gotta monologue faster. That was not good. Ideally, you get at least one out. He kills it. Okay, that wasn't worth it. That does take a lot of wind out of those particular sails. It is going to be blank, so there will be the follow-up to deal with some of the Widow Mine aggression. Or follow-up aggression, not necessarily Widow Mine. Stargate has become a little bit more of a choice since the Cyclone is less... The Cyclone and the Widow Mine are both slightly less decisive against it, but the default is still very much the Blink Stalkers. All right, another Mine Marine drop. Hello? Jimmy! It's alright. They could shut... Just like they did with Heroes of the Storm, they could shut down the game, but that's not going to stop the cast. Alright. I know they didn't shut down Heroes of the Storm, but every time I play it on the second channel, if you guys haven't checked it out, people are like, wow, they didn't actually literally shut this game down, but instead just are no longer actively developing it, which they did possibly the worst PR thing that Blizzard has done since most of the rest of the stuff Blizzard has done in the last, you know, like 8 years. So, who would have thought? Anyways, Blink Stalkers. Still finding a lot of success. Ghetto blinking back. He can go over the mineral wall. So far, MaxPax only losing 1. This is, well... Come on. Come on, guys. All right. Oh, what a mess. It's Clem who's forced on the defense here. The siege tank is in position. Goes straight for the bunker. The SCVs are pulled, but the bunker goes down. There is a backup bunker to deal with it. And into the main, there's another tank. Pulls right back out. That warp prism to yank them back after they blink forward. The safety line. And notice how he only blinks in 4 stalkers, which is how many a warp prism can fit. Is he just gonna go? Oh my god, Blunks on top of the tank, and now we're brawling with the SCVs. Still doing a lot of damage here. There's 3 Marines inside the bunker. A lot of stalkers will be lost, but very importantly, there's no siege tank, at least for a moment. Another tank is sieging. Clem is not repairing the bunker. Clem, it's burning. Really? Well, we can spare 1. Your game depends on this bunker living. If he takes out the bunker, it's much, much easier to blink on top of the tanks. But sure, 1 SCV should do it, right? The warp prism, barely intact. Does have vision with the observer of the Whittle Mine there. Not that he can take it out, but at least is aware of it. MaxPax building probes behind. He has 4 gates. That observer, a little ambitious. I think kind of trying to bait in here. Will he go for it? Blunks in! Gets the Raven. Gets the tank. Going for more, but the tank on the low ground, and some of the stalkers took the wrong path. It looks so good to start. But the stalkers get pounded back. More observers, but the observers... Oh, by the way, they also are 10% larger, which, in order to be able to spot them easier for mostly the Terrans. But, honestly, I found it as Protoss a little bit easier to keep track of them, too. So, not entirely horrible. Kind of like the Widowmine change is technically a nerf to Terran, but being able to see what you're firing at and potentially retarget easier might not be so much. I'm all in favor of visibility changes, and observers are the most literal version. The mineral wall going to be mined through. Everybody else waiting for the toll to be completed. All right. You guys got to help? Nope. You guys look like you got it. Charge lots. That prism so bruised, but takes out the observer. MaxPax not even bothering trying to take out these rocks. His entire army can teleport one way or another. With the warp prism, he's gonna warp in. That's a lot of charge lots. Combat shield and 1-1 are not done. In fact, Clem really hurting for upgrades throughout this. Without combat shield, the charge lots just charging forward and slicing up some of the Marines. MaxPax keeping the pressure on, but look at the supply. MaxPax really needs to get the damage done here. This is not the army you want to go into the later game with. In fact, well, it's pretty clear he doesn't want to go into the later game at all. Blinks forward onto the tank. Charge lots streaming through. The Stalker's kind of muddying up the waters here and making it hard for the charge lots to get involved. And Clem holding on. If he gets his 1-1 done, this army is going to be very difficult to deal with. There's an Immortal, which unfortunately has no teleportation capabilities. Just hanging out at the front. I think it's a scouting Immortal. A classic tactic. Oh, MaxPax realizes. You can see how fast his Are you just gonna recall? No, the Prism? Coming for the same... Both sides. Like, alright, time out. Pulls back the Immortal. Oh, the second Immortal. Wait, no. He juggled it, dropped it out, and then sent the Prism in towards the main. So MaxPax again. Not a resounding success, but not a decisive failure. I would say Clem at the advantage here, but overall, it could be much worse for MaxPax, considering he has the base down the center and the rich Vespene Geyser. And that can help springboard his tech back to where it needs to be to deal with this. He's got a Templar Archives, he's got a Colossus on the way, he's got a Forge, a second Forge in production, and that means Clem might be underestimating his spot in this match right now, as he's getting Ghost Academy and Armory, but MaxPax is quickly shoring up his main weaknesses, and will have a whole lot of strength at the end of it. And then he loses the Prism, which, you know, doesn't help. Zealot's like, well, best I can do. That Prism was very important. The threat of the Prism is very important. Just anything keeping Clem at home. I mean, he has to assume there's going to be another one. Oh my god, he's going to try to drop on top of the Stalkers. He's chasing them down, but MaxPax bites back. And everyone's piling in. Here comes some charge lots from the north side. There's not enough to fit into the medevac. Beautiful force field. That one cuts off a lot of these units. He gets another Marauder. A single Marine to the north. MaxPax's not going to be able to expand, but he's already expanding towards the third. And the scan, I think Clem didn't realize MaxPax could just take the center. Or at least it didn't really occur to him until this moment, because he should have been way more aggressive against it. He has 4 or 5 siege tanks. In this base, you could easily siege up from the low ground. But now MaxPax has been mining from it for quite a while. He's had the income lead. He's got the Colossi on the field. He guns down a Viking. And the charge lots are still looking for an opportunity. But Clem? Well, upgrades on both sides completing, but they're not going to wait. Well, maybe MaxPax should, as that siege line. Clem inspired to take the base on the high ground here. And they're going to continue. MaxPax. Templar, he doesn't have Storm. But feedbacks and Archons. The feedback EMP is an observer. The feedback change did not go through for various reasons. But you can still just click on things, so. The Colossi actually got to demonstrate what I mean by the ability to siege up. There's only a single tank. The Colossi, oh, and he blocks it around the back. The charge lots can't really get involved here. Every Stalker gets absolutely pummeled. And now there's very little empty air, but there's only one Viking on the field. Yeah, he warps in some more Stalkers. MaxPax has been able to outmaneuver Clem, who's been pinned back to these bases. 2-1 versus 2-2, though. Advantage goes to the Terran. Good concave here. EMP to lead things off. There's one Disruptor in the mix. That's a huge deal. Widowmine connects. Tries to pull back. Was trying to cover for the Disruptor. It's not enough. Guns down a Viking. Another one. Beautiful blinks back. He covers those Colossi. 4 of them. Just enough to threaten even the Ghosts. Marauders, EMPs, softens up the Archons. Disruptor still intact, recharging. Charge lots going through the front line. Takes out the tank. Colossi distracted by supply depots. Classic move. Meanwhile, the Disruptor has recharged. Another Viking comes up. Multiple Colossi bruised, but all of them still intact. 5 kills, 7 kills, 12 kills. Not too many. The tanks are getting closer, though. Getting multiple hits. 2 Colossi into the orange. More Disruptors coming up. The armies continue to clash, but the concave, MaxPax kind of getting into a awkward spot here. More Disruptors, bites off a couple tanks. Beautiful split. And Clem is willing to chase down this army. There's one more Disruptor shot. He splits, he stims, but 3 Colossi are still melting through, down to 2. Charge lots aren't enough. Fadeaway shot, not even close to connecting. Clem holds the line, and now MaxPax is down. 170 to 150 supply. That went significantly better for Clem. 42 charge lots, 35 Marines, 3,000 more minerals, and 700 more gas destroyed. MaxPax does have... Oh, he intercepts the Prism with a Ghost Marauder drop. I think he EMP'd his own medevacs, or he just didn't have much energy after those fights. Now MaxPax will start his archaeological dig. Could take a while, as he has to go through all 4 sets of rocks. Well, he doesn't have to go through all 4. He could just go through 2, but... Thing is, Clem did not have enough starport units to counterattack. On this sort of map, with these sort of economies, without Liberators or at least enough Vikings, even though MaxPax was beaten, he was not out of it. And trying to go up a ramp into reinforcing robos and however many gateways, 12 gates of charge lots, was not going to pan out. Just like attacking into 4 or 5 siege. Was that? Did he just queue this up and it just ended up on the wrong side? I'm reasonably sure that's what. Well, still trying to clash in the center of the map. The Stalker's getting obliterated by the siege tanks. The Disruptors zone out the bio, but Clem, another decisive advantage to start things off. Big warping. Disruptors on the front line. Fires one off from the back. Loses one at the front. Still struggling. Ooh, leans into a shot. Still going forward. Shield battery overcharge to try to keep it intact. Still one Colossus to backstop. But there's almost no Marines left for the Colossus to do real damage against. Neither Marauders nor Ghosts are light units. 2 Immortals at a time, and a Disruptor. His MaxPax. Keeping it together. He's got DT Blink on the way. Clem starting to build some Liberators. I don't believe he has a Fusion Core. Observer. Clem. Oh, what a save! What a save! And even when you find the timing, Clem still manages to evade it. That force field, a middle finger to the Terran. He could come up the ramp, though probably not a great idea. High Psychoto tracking building armor. A quite conspicuous prism, but he makes his way into the main. The turret, MaxPax, was actually maxed out for a moment. And that made it difficult to warp in, but don't worry, Clem has helped him out with that. The Vespene Geyser has 2 gas left, so MaxPax, even if he loses that base now, has gotten most of the Vespene gas out of it. The charge lots will overrun the tanks. Clem came back with the reinforcements. MaxPax pounces on the army. He's gonna chase it down. The Stalker's doing a great job. Ghosts being taken out. MaxPax did force Clem back. So much of the bio is in the main. If there was ever an opportunity to try to jump on any of these bases, it would likely be now. He has to move quickly. The Vikings don't really have much more purpose besides taking out things like observers. They could hit the deck, and they are severely discouraging any Colossus production. The DTs blunk onto the tanks. That isn't a planetary. A very ambitious... The sentry gets taken up, but the DTs pull some units back. Onto the top. Scans just in case. Ghosts on top of it. MaxPax still sharking around. There is a planetary. Blinks in on top. Charge lots. Disruptor shot to zone out. The Immortal count. He has several in the mix there. Very helpful against the Marauders, but the flank. Who's flanking who? The Disruptors are fully charged. Clem pulls back. Beautiful split. Zoning Ruptor shots. Now those are the force fields we're talking about. Meanwhile, though, the Immortals hold the line. The barrier holds. And the charge lots come down. The Disruptors looking for another opportunity. Oh, pops one. Dodges away. A single Marauder. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. And back they go. Back to their corners. Well, at least their side. The battle will continue. Neither player going for that late. Well, I take it back. Actually, 4 Liberators at a time. Huge EMP landed. Disruptor Volley still zoning. Another scan spots the base over to the right side. A charge lot is waiting for another command center to the south. Disruptor zoning away. Still splitting the Clem Sea here. Another one. Another one. Believe it or not, another one. And wait, another one. He comes around to the side. Another. Okay. He's clipping a surprising amount of these Marauders. Clem actually doesn't have much money in the bank. He's going for advanced ballistics Liberators. Yes, they have one less range, but that's still plenty to deal with these ground armies in these excessive choke points. MaxPax. Still 12 gateways. He's got 3 robos. He's just so consistent about warping and trying to come through the rocks. Good luck with that. Some Liberators and tanks on the high ground. Does he even have a Stargate on the map? He does not. Disruptor popped from the high ground. MaxPax is running out of real estate here, quite literally, as Clem's liberation is at hand. But the DTs will slice through the weakest point. MaxPax gonna try to shove his way in towards the planetary. Blinks on top. SCV's pulled. No more energy on the Medivacs. Disruptor shots. Catches the ghost. A fade away on the Zealot. The DTs are driven back. The Liberator count. He's got 8 of them now. Slicing through. Just keeping him busy. Disruptors. The Zealots catching some strays here, but also hitting the ghost. The Immortals trying to bash through, but the planetary holds, and the reinforcements on the way. Catches the Marauders. Charge lots coming around the corner, but that's so many Medivacs. Caduceus Reactor has begun as well. Another Disruptor shot and another whiff. 3 Immortals at a time. MaxPax, wait, the DTs have cut through. 14 SCVs dead. How many orbitals? Only 3 for Clem. He does not have the scans he needs. That's actually real economic damage. Look at the money in the bank. There's a big difference between 12 maxed out orbital commands and Clem, who's struggling. He needs to scan, but his SCV count is actually surprisingly low. They're both doing some excavation, working their way through the rocks. Ranged Liberator completed. Oh, but MaxPax, the double back, he queued up the juke. Oh my god. A Liberator to the right side, a Liberator to the left. MaxPax down the center. Disruptor shot, forces him back, but the planetary just keeps holding. The Liberator's finding a lot of the probes, forces it back. He's gonna have to blink to the north. In the center, EMPs, Disruptor shot. That's a big one. No! No, it gets taken out. The game-winning shot turns into an absolute disaster, and Clem is stunner stepping down most of the robo units here. Another shot, dodges back, clips a Marauder. That's about it, but another one up the ramp. That's a big one. 9 down, EMPs. Here come the charge lots to the front, and he's forced back. The blink misses the Medivac, and that means the ghosts are still intact. The Liberator's trying to siege, and MaxPax is scrambling now. He doesn't actually have he has barely enough production. I think he just took out an observer. Meanwhile, oh my god, the Liberators starting to annex the map. He rebuilt the assimilator. I'm sure he didn't know it was 2 gas, but he drained that 2 gas. What a ripoff. MaxPax has money, but Clem has the army. He takes out the Nexus. The Disruptor count. He's got 5 Ruptors, 24 charge lots, 20 Stalkers. Meanwhile, the calm, with none of the storms. MaxPax has lost 13,000 more minerals, 4,000 more gas. This is unsustainable. Of course, he's mined 14,000 more minerals, but he hasn't mined any more gas. Disruptor shots looking for SCVs. MaxPax does not have a Stargate. The rocks have survived most of this game, and they're continuing to do so. There's so many rocks. The Liberators. Vehicle plating 1. And +2. The entire Gateway army will collapse on this. There's no Disruptors here. The EMPs are good. Takes down the Liberators. Tanks taking chunks out of the Stalkers. Heads to the north. Recall. Not gonna happen. EMP's the Nexus. And without the Ruptors, you can't fight that much bio. Not with the Planetary. Not with the Liberators to back it up. The defensive Dark Templar. More. He's sniping Zealots. But that's a dangerous game. Another Disruptor, point blank range. Another one. That one finds a decent connection. Continues splitting through. Gets a Cyclone. I don't know why there was a Cyclone. Three Ruptors at a time. MaxPax still has money. Clem, they're still battling. The charge lots. He's got to cover. He's got to be very careful with the Ruptors. Pulls away. Takes out the tank. Their DT is headed to the north, but their turret's in position. The Liberators don't seem to be able to pin MaxPax down, but MaxPax is running out of minerals. The income, for the first time in 10 minutes, is tilting towards Clem. But if he gets denied even one base... Oh, that Disruptor shot blinks. Doesn't quite one-shot the Liberator. And every single extra volley slams 2 Raptors into a tank. And they're both going to try to claim the base to the north. Blinking forward. MaxPax getting really aggressive with an army that really struggles in that scenario. Disruptor center mass! The saving grace. But is it enough? I don't think so. 1 disruptor shot, but not enough to take down the army. MaxPax down 40 supply without the money to replenish it for the first time. Gonna lose the probes. The base to the north is still mining. The few Liberators were carved away. Disruptor saves the Ghost with the medevac. EMP over the top. And the army pulls back, trying to keep the Ghosts alive. Oh my god, Clem has kept it up for 25 minutes. MaxPax is out of options. 200 Zealots. 100 Stalkers, 20 Disruptors. GG. Clem. Absolutely clawing and grinding and pounding his way through. Phrasing could be used here, but he goes to match point. MaxPax, he almost broke through again so many times, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And that means Clem takes 2 in a row. We're going to Alcyone. A relatively standard map. So close. If there was just 2 sets of rocks instead of 4, I think there are multiple opportunities where MaxPax breaks through. But Terran and Terran, Clem says, I am the difference. All right. I want to know if they actually took a break between these matches. You know, knowing them, I doubt it. Especially Clem. I'm not sure about MaxPax, but Clem is all about, let's go, game. Almost all of the best players are, for better or worse, arguably for better, are like that. Like, we're gonna keep going. And especially if you just won that game, well, there's no reason to kill your momentum. What an exhausting. Alright. Stargate. He's hiding. He's waiting until the Adepts move out. Clever guy. Just trying to pick up a free probe. Second Adept is done. Actually, a bunker back at home. But only 2 Marines do not usually scare an Adept. A bunker, though, is a bit more difficult to deal with. Remember when that bunker rush seemed like the craziest thing that was gonna happen? Well, did it? It seemed like one of them, but this has been the most evenly matched. Clem with the slight edge, honestly. And it seems to be a bit map dependent as well. I'd say this map does favor a more macro-oriented style. Like that, it is hard to hold on to the outer bases, like past 4 bases. I think the Blink Stalker Ruptor style, while not super easy to use or ever particularly great, it's more of a quantity as a quality all its own situation. Is better suited to this map than literally a ram. Well, he shades through with 3 Adepts. Alright, well, he's just gonna fight the Marines. Trying to pull back and minimize the splash damage. Hellion? Oh my god. technically, oh so technically, Hellions outrange the Adept. And Clem really trying to use that, but the Adept does get away. Was it worth it? He got 2 SCVs. It is a good scout as well. The best way to scout someone is to punch them in the face and see how they react. So, or at least give them a slap, which is more like what Adepts are. Or throw some shade. It's Cyclones. Wait, did he actually see it? I think he did. And the options for the reactor factory are quite limited. But honestly, no matter what happens here, I wanna have a bit of a meta discussion and talk about Game of the Year. So there's no quota for Games of the Year. All right, no matter what, a likely Dutch YouTuber, you're like, well, I know who you're. We'll say, at the end of the day, all games are great. We always try to show great games for the fans, but that last game, honestly, this whole series, but especially that last game, is just that extra cut above. You can get the top players doing crazy strategies with amazing execution, but it's really the push and shove that these two have had in this series that rises above. And yeah, we might see it every week. Not all weeks, but in these ESL Cups. Doesn't have to be the highest profile tournament, but that was clearly the highest level of this matchup I think anyone has ever seen. Like, with Clem turning disruptors from the unit that is the main source of Diamond League balance complaints into mediocre splash damage. But if at any point, he just ate a hit during a decisive fight, the only time he did was right when it didn't seem to matter anymore. Which is pretty typical of the Ruptor. But absolutely perfect. And now we got to talk about this game. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still living in the last one. But this is actually kind of crazy as well. It's Mass Cyclone Raven up against Mass Phoenix. It's going to be Phoenix Colossus. It's going to be Bio. But this is kind of a weird and just absolutely crazy mech opener. For both sides. They're both going mech. Unfortunately, only one can repair. We need some mercenary SCVs you can pay minerals to repair for you for a while. Buy them from the shop in the corner of the map. It's going to be, yeah. After that, I'm not surprised to see a more careful style, or at least passive. Not really passive, but defensive from both sides. And make no mistake, the Phoenixes are defensive. Even though he's staying, the best way to defend right now is stay right on the edge of where Clem can actually attack them. And if he moves out, potentially pick a fight that he can win, or at least get some of the SCVs. But this is the continued way of scouting here. That is much more reliable than just sending a probe or even putting out an observer, especially with those Ravens on the field. But I want to thank you, by the way, for watching. If you've made it this far, you haven't yet subscribed. This has been like the last couple months have been some of my best on YouTube ever. Like, literally ever. Most views, most subscribers. Maybe since, like, the most subscribers was, like, when StarCraft 2 went free-to-play, which was 7 years ago. Oh, my God. Like, that month. But since then. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. And while there are good games, despite what maybe a post made on April 1st might tell you, I think we still got some good games to show for the fans. So thank you for watching. They're still just... Clem looks like he's just going to max out and try to go. Whereas MaxPax is working on that himself. So... Ow. It's a dangerous job. Yeah, minimal losses. 7 SCVs, but 1 Phoenix, 1 Observer. They're essentially getting 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the tech tree. All we're missing is the absolute end game, like fusion core and fleet beacon sort of tech. Otherwise, Dark Shrine on the way. Is there already a Templar Archives done? No, actually. Interesting. Already disruptors. 9.5 minutes in. The Phoenixes still dancing around. And Clem just taking the 4th. MaxPax already has a 5th. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 6th base on the way. Multiple tanks. Well, uses his own command center against him. Scan catches an observer. MaxPax is looking to get aggressive here. EMP works just as well on the Phoenixes. That planetary isn't done. If there was ever a time to go, that time would be now. Otherwise, he's going to have to wait out for a fight on the map. And, well, the Ghost chased down some of the Zealots. There are only 10 gates. I say only because right now MaxPax has 3,600 minerals per minute of income. And the main sticking point last game, some of the time, was just the ability to spend that money. He had only 3 robos, only 12 gates, which 95% of the time is not, like, only is not the right way to say that. But, well, starting up, gets a couple ghosts. Disruptor around the corner, popped at the last second. Oh my god, he's scrambling them with the Ravens. Just scrambling, locking down the Raptors. Anti-armor missile. Clem builds a Raven for the first time in his career. Well, not the first time, but building multiple Ravens and absolutely locks down. Scrambles the Raptors. Anti-armor missile across the board. Cheeto dusting everything. Multiple command centers on the way. Now, MaxPax will replenish. Interference Matrix doesn't kill the unit. But more disruptors around the corner. That's a big hit. The Ravens themselves going to be taken out. Lifts a tank out of the disruptor shot. So, meanwhile, the planetary is drawing a lot of the fire from the Colossi. And more disruptor hits. Another one around the corner. Clem getting driven back. All the Cyclones are coming down. Most of the Phoenixes are dead. Ooh, takes out that clone. The fadeaway shots continue. The Disruptor's looking for another opportunity. Fires. Good hit. Another one. And he comes around the corner, almost finishes off the Cyclone. But MaxPax continues driving forward. And Clem may be regretting not pressuring on the map at all, as MaxPax is shoving his way in with the most dangerous force fields that are the Disruptors. Here we go again. More ghosts dying. Their last words dying. Clips 2 more. High-value targets. MaxPax, he's warping in back at home. The only thing he's missing is a quick warp in with a warp prism. The Disruptor shots continue. Immortal barrier triggered. The Vikings overhead. Disruptor count still so high. The first 10 minutes of this game were slow, but we've made up for it already, as MaxPax tries to break through, but he's not actually able to break the army, and he doesn't take out any of the bases. So Clem still has the supply. They both still have massive economies. We're at that stage of the game where the main base hasn't yet mined out. At least, it's not quite there. So every base is online. The incomes will never get higher than this, as they're both at about 3,000 to 4,000 minerals per minute and like 1,500 gas. Another volley of shots coming around the corner, using the command center against him, hitting the Vikings of all things on the ground. Beautiful split from Clem. He's got the open field to work with, which makes it a lot easier for the Bio Army. Oh my. Disruptors. Still working on it. Looking for more. Another blinking. A dangerous game. Fire shots around both sides. Comes up empty. Clips a couple. Still zoning. Oh, those Zealots are so stressed out. chomping at the bit, but they gotta be careful with the Ruptors. He's actually out of cooldowns. Clem sees it. Clem is gonna do whatever he can. Another Ruptor. Just casually dodges out of the way. The Ruptor's a little off the mark here, has to fire another shot. But Clem just splitting. Another one. Easily moving forward. More shots. Gets a Ruptor. Zealot the only kill. A Ruptor from the back, looking for the flank. But Clem just diving and dodging and ducking and dipping again. And he takes out all the Ruptors. He's chasing it down. Clem holds however many. There were 14 disruptor shots fired. And in that fight, 13 Marauders and 12 Marines died. And I think less than half of them to disruptors. The KD ratio on these Ruptors is, well, like your teammates in every FPS game. It seems like right now. Always seems like the enemy is Clem. But oh my. MaxPax doubling down on the Robos. He's got 4 Immortals in production. He's now maxed out, so no longer in production. Liberators on the way, but they've both taken most of their sides of the map, but MaxPax has almost completed his half, for better or worse. The gold base has been taken by MaxPax. We're in another situation. We're in another situation where MaxPax is going to have so much income, so much in the bank, but his army, he needs the hits. He needs to force the disruptor hits. Or, well, there it is. A fleet beacon and 2 stargates. He's not going to hold on the ground army forever. There's a scouting zealot. The Liberator's actually a bit off the mark. Well, who's flanking? I take it back. There's not nearly enough stalkers. He's gonna get the Immortals, trying to move forward. But with no disruptors, the Terran army is more than capable. But a blink, the DTs onto the planetary. But the SCVs themselves are blocking out. We're the Ruptors. There are none left. Clem is tearing through everything at the front. The DT is looking for an opportunity. The DT is still going unchecked. The planetary blinks over the top into the main. And Clem, he wins the battle on the field, but has to come back to deal with the DTs. Just when it looked like he might be able to press the advantage. And that will give time for more disruptors and carriers in production. MaxPax recalls the DTs of scan, but he'll get them all out. At least whatever survived to the corner. There's still 1 DT hanging out in the main. MaxPax has successfully, and puns intended, undercut any advantage Clem had on the field. Clem still 5 orbitals, 3 more on the way. So he's not going to be hurting for scans or for mules. A scan into the main spots the carrier switch as well. So now he will continue upgrading ship weapons and building Vikings and Liberators. The DT, just something to keep him busy. Stim's back with more. You're gonna get a supply depot. And now we're gonna fight over the center of the map. The Disruptor's always awkward on the watchtower area here. Liberators reign absolutely supreme. And curveball ends up not quite connecting. The Liberators continue to march forward. Disruptor, empty. Another shot. Optimistic. Another one. And that one's big. The Marauders at the back line. The DTs, the double Ds of destruction between the Disruptors and the Dark Templar. He takes out the Nexus, but the DTs are keeping him busy. And they keep Clem from getting his gold base for now. He's gonna land right back over there. Blinks away. DTs getting the hell out of dodge. And Clem is again driven back. There's a Nexus. The sensor tower doesn't quite reach. MaxPax has actually managed to complete a Nexus on Clem's side of the map. He's got to keep the carriers going forward. The Disruptor's looking to cut off the ground army. Fires off 1. Gonna need more than that. He's going forward, fires everything, but comes up almost entirely empty. He gets a shot, and that might be enough momentum to power through, but the DTs are taken out. The carriers aren't enough. The Disruptors on their own easily popped like overripe tomatoes. And down go MaxPax's Ruptors. His supply still looking strong, but his army is a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. Lunks forward. The carriers. Tempest More guaranteed damage, warping in from his Nexus. EMP lands on the Tempest. How many Vikings on the field? Only 7 of them. As the Tempest continue to shell. Six Vikings at a time. High-sec auto-tracking. For the turrets. It's helpful in general. Does he have building armor? Of course. Tectonic destabilizers, not done. Charge lots going forward. Ghosts and Vikings. The Liberators are mostly tied up, already sieged. Disruptor looking for an opportunity. Zealots caught mid-charge. Vikings and Oracle. Revelation, of course, very helpful, but there's so much going on. The Ghost caught in front. The Bio Army moves a lot faster. Give Ghost Stim. Ooh, don't give him ideas. Revelation, but there goes the Oracle. The Vikings have 3-1 against just +1 in the skies for MaxPax. There's only one Ruptor. He's building more Tempests here. Fires a shot, and the Ruptor is targeted down. Carriers, more Vikings coming up, trying to chase down these carriers. There's not that many interceptors left on the field, and with the EMPs, the carrier's brought down so quickly by the Vikings. Oh my, the Tempest. MaxPax has so many minerals, but almost no gas at all in the bank. And the charge lots, Ghosts are still pretty solid against them. Caduceus Reactor is done. He actually lines up some snipes. MaxPax, scans and spots the bases to the north. Clem has to make a decision here. He's got the advantage. A nuke is on the way. That's still so many charge lots. Blunks forward. Another base, and we're essentially the entire map taken. Clem gonna remove MaxPax from the northern side. He wasn't able to mine any of that gas. MaxPax has had the income advantage, but Clem is evening the odds here. Oh, come on. Oh my god. He saves the Viking. The Viking count's so damn high, and the Liberator's over the top of the bridge. A Venn diagram of freedom. Overlapping here. MaxPax actually saves his Nexus for now. So many charge lots on the field. Disruptors. Charge lots have to pull away. And the Liberator. So smooth. Oh no, rocks again! He actually launches all the interceptors here. Some of the interceptors are still fighting the rocks though, which is far from ideal. Liberators themselves, he's trying to, you gotta get those rocks down! Barely does. The army is mostly Ghost Liberator Viking now. Disruptor shot. The Ghosts. So many EMP opportunities. I don't know if I think he does have Cloak, but he does slip through the opening he carved here. More carriers on the way. That is one way to spend your minerals. Clem. Disruptor through the minerals. Not gonna find it. And the interceptors are just getting shot out of the sky by the Liberators. This is what they're most well suited for when it comes to anti-air. Another Liberator working on probes. A Disruptor shot trying to zone out, but the Liberator's doing a better job. MaxPax is actually mining this gas, which is going to be incredibly important. Oh no. Well, the Disruptor fadeaway shot. Clem eats a Ghost or two. But MaxPax is struggling. He's now got +2 in the skies, but Clem's upgrades are a decisive advantage. He's just auto-attacking with the Liberators to kill the Interceptors, and he's killed so many. But the carriers are firing barely anything. A trickle. He's lost 70s, so 8 Interceptors per carrier. But he's averaging like 2 to 4. A Liberator finds another base. Nuclear launch detected. MaxPax, I think, sees the Ghost. Will we have a repeat? Okay. This isn't Maru versus Classic. This is significantly different, but also Quite similar match. It made sense. Mothership is on the way. MaxPax starting to get desperate, whereas Clem is solidifying his position. He's got the money in the bank. This isn't the back and forth of last game. It's Clem slowly, but he's killing his own medevacs. Underneath an observer. I don't know if that's on purpose, but either way, it's a power move. I guess when your entire ground army is like 16 units, you don't need 10 medevacs. You've already got essentially medevacs for all. Clem now going to be taking one of MaxPax's bases, though he has allowed MaxPax to mine a whole lot of that northern side. It is just one gas geyser. Fires a shot. I don't even know if there are any ground units to hit right now. But the carrier, the interceptors, are they enough? He's losing a lot of them. It's hard to tell, but the Liberators are sieging, which gives the carriers maybe an opportunity. It's not happening. This is a very odd situation on the mini-map. Clem went to take the gases and then realized, you know, the TPM raises. He's gonna let the plan out, but here comes some DTs. The sensor tower is spotting everything. MaxPax has so many carriers. I love it. He's trying to just swarm the entirety of the air army. If he can start winning a fight, he can continue winning it. If he gets the critical mass of carriers. He's gonna work around the northern angle. This base is almost essentially defunct. There's only 14 gas left. Oh, be careful. He's lost so many interceptors. There are 21 Vikings. And if anyone should know the danger of Vikings, it's our Danish player. The Vikings, there's just not that many stalkers. Wow. Satisfying, but also painful volleys. A recall via the mothership on top of all of the turrets. There are some ghosts down here. He may lose a carrier. Is there any detection? There are disruptors, which we'll have to do. Liberators zoning out this base. Oh no. There's no detection for the ghosts. He fires off a shot. Firing blind. Has to build some observers. Getting Storm. A desperation move. At this stage, something to take out the Vikings. A historical counter, at least. Well, this time around, it's MaxPax trying to get anywhere with his army, whereas Clem is locking down the map. Feels like he has kind of refined the strategy from last game, and he's forced MaxPax into this desperate death ball. He's got Templar. Storm is about to complete. This observer is so huge. And the fact that Dark Templar at the watchtower. 11 probes down. The Liberator's still up. Oh my god! Looks like he tried to know where those probes going. I guess he doesn't really need them. There's nowhere left to mine. Oh my, the storm. DT actually dodged the EMP. No, isn't dodging the scan. If I stand very still, the scan will... Okay. The Zealots clear up the base to the south. Clem doesn't have so much in the base. Oh my god. That is so much Sky Terran. He's got 3-2. MaxPax doesn't have any armor or shields upgrades. At least for his air. He recalls to the north? Yes. In order to try to grind through. Clem? Will he retarget all the observers? No. Oh my god. The fleet. Clearly spread out in terms of how fast they move. Which looks amazing, by the way. Cinematic. Almost loses the observers. MaxPax still desperately mining. Looks like Clem will be taking the rest of this base. And the mothership! MaxPax forcing Clem to ping-pong back and forth. And it's actually kind of working. The Liberator gonna pop some more of the probes here. But we're mining out. just 1 or 2 storms. Disruptors. He fires off. There's actually not enough damage. He clips 1 or 2 of the ghosts. That army, he hasn't repaired it. As most of it in autumn colors here. The Tempest, active cloaking could be very helpful. The mothership is almost dead. MaxPax is almost out of money. He's really working. EMP across the board, but shield battery overcharge, well, isn't up to that task. God, the interceptor cost. The Tempests are relatively guaranteed damage if they get those shots off. And over time, can maybe start to battle back, but a stalker forward. He's looking for EMPs. There are 4 observers on the map. The times of plenty have ended. He wants that obs. He's gonna get it, but there's more. Ooh, he went out of detection range just barely. MaxPax. There's a cloak ghost working on the base. MaxPax is getting to the point he can't even really afford to replace his interceptors. That's it. That's all of his money. He warps in. Well, that cloak ghost, he has to fight down here. The ghost's a little far forward, but EMPs. He uses the active cloak. Disruptors. Whoa, he catches so many of the ghosts with the time warp. Huge play. A beautiful time warp holds the line. The cloak ghosts still go to work. There's almost no gas left. MaxPax needs to hold here and now. The Liberator's starting to work on things. The Vikings trying to work their way through. I don't think there are any Templar left. They're all dead. Clem is out of money. But so is MaxPax, and he has carriers. 7 more Vikings on the way. There's still a few thousand minerals at these bases. Clem can eventually rebuild. MaxPax can't sit back. He lost the mothership. The mothership almost made the difference. But Clem just has to hold a little while longer. I think he knows that as well. Revelation is huge. Vikings gonna chase. He's gotta go. He's trying to kite back. That Oracle is so important. He doesn't have the gas for another one. He's trying to use the Tempest. There's 1 storm. He needs something. They lost the Templar. He's losing the Tempest. He's lost all the carriers. And he's lost the series. Clem holds on. Another match that MaxPax brings to the brink. Not a single, I don't care, hero, Showtime, Brainer, no other Protoss could even get that close. But Clem is just on another level right now. Dancing out of disruptor hits, dodging the storms, and chasing down the carriers. MaxPax tried something a little different, but it still wasn't enough. But what a series. I have no shame, and that is game of the year, game of 2 years. Every game so close. And while it's 3-1, it should be like 3 to 2.99. Repeating, of course. Which MaxPax fought so hard, but Clem just on point. How long? Wow. Well, hopefully it made your day a little bit better. I don't know what else to say, so we're just going to cut it off there. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. Thank you for making it this far. I hear liking and subscribing is still free. For now. And if you haven't checked out the second channel, if somehow you have more hours in the day, be awesome to do so. Winter Gaming TV in the description. Right, Jimmy? I don't... But hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.